So I got this sketch and illustration pen set to try. I got this is Speedball pen cleaner because this is suggested on the back of this that you need to clean the nibs and everything after you're done using them. Well, a couple of things. I have no idea how to use this. Like, I mean, I know it's a pen, but I'm saying like I've never actually used, like an inkwell or a dip pen or whatever. And I just figured I'd try. I mean, it's $6.50. This was like $4.50. So for what? $11 plus tax. Not too bad. Figure if I'm terrible at it, which I'm gonna be, it wasn't really that much of a waste of money to me. I've been wanting to try this for a while, so I want to give this a shot, and then you can see me fail miserably trying to use this. And if I like it, and if I get good or decent enough with it, I can always buy a better set. I mean, I don't know if this is any good or not. I didn't bother to look at reviews. I just grabbed it because we were at the store. It was just kind of an impulse buy. I'm gonna look up some things on maybe what to do, and then I'll try it, and then maybe I'll do a sketch and then fail miserably in front of you in this video. First off, let's do the unboxing, as it were. I mean, it's really just a package popping open, right? Oh, that wasn't good. I don't know why I was expecting that was going to be in some sort of container. Like, I thought that this might be a snap lid. I was definitely wrong. These are very, yeah, they're flimsy. I mean, I expect that, but I can't look at these and tell you which one's which. The back of the thing will help me there. This little cardboard thing. That's cool. It's got like more or less stippling for freckles and contour lines and hatching, if you will. I always call cross-hatching hatching because that's just how I think of it. Oh, so we have different ones. Let's go full weeb. What do you say? Let's do the Japanese one. I don't know if it's this one or the other one. I can't. Hold on. It's interesting. It's got like has like these little indentations, like ribs, almost like little splines on it. They were in order, and I opened it like an ass. Okay, so I imagine this is the spoon nib. It does look a bit like a spoon. I'm going to be terrible with all of these, so it doesn't really matter. Let me see. This one, I'm assuming these are right. Mapping nib? I don't know what any of this means. They're just different types of nibs, obviously, but I don't know the first thing about any of these. I don't know which one of these this is. It's numbered, actually. Funny enough. It says right here, school nib, which I imagine it was for when you used to write in school. This is a reservoir nib. Okay, this little battleship looking guy. I told you I don't know what I'm doing. So this is going to be a hot mess, okay? Okay, we got these lined up. So I'm going to try, for no other reason than it sounds cool, I'm going to do the Japanese one. I'm sure I'm going to make an absolute mess doing this. I think we've already established that. I'm just going to toss those into like a Ziploc bag or something, so I'm not going to remember which one's which, but I can, however, keep this handy-dandy card so that later on I'll actually know what the hell it is I was looking at. I don't usually keep stuff like this, but I'm going to keep this because I will not remember, and I won't be able to identify just by, Google lensing or something like that. It's going to be really difficult. So, whilst I'm new to doing ink dipping, I'm not new to ink, and I'm used to doing things freehand like airbrushing and all that good stuff and using traditional ink brush pens and stuff. I have never used, and it's cool, is Manga ink. I don't know what Manga ink is specifically in terms of master's touch. I assume they're trying to say it's similar to like a Sakura style Pigma micron kind of color. I mean ink. I assume it's just not India ink is what they're trying to say. Either, by the way. My Batman shirt's old. So if it gets, plus it's black, and if it gets ink on, I'm not going to freak out about it. You're supposed to dip it. Well, supposed to. Again, I don't know what I'm doing, so don't hate me too much. You're just not supposed to get it on the top, and then it says to wipe off the excess. I'm sure that's not enough. Ooh, I was wrong. That is satisfying in a way I can't really quite describe. Let me see if I can peel this back some more. I'm also going to assume this is not like super permanent. Like, I don't know what the light fastness is, if there's any at all. So you dip this guy just to wipe the excess. All right. So I'm having to dive into here so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, see, this is eaten right through. This really isn't meant for this. I should really be using like a heavy Bristol paper, but this is what I have to work with right now. This is really trippy. I can see how fun this would actually be to ink a comic with. This is crazy. Kind of forces you to slow down a little bit, I suppose. You don't have to dig like really heavy-handed into it either. It's just like, you're just going for it, man. I just wanted to try this once because a lot of people do this, a lot of inking and stuff, and I just think it looked cool and traditional. It just looked fun, so I figured I'd give it a try. Obviously, laying down quite a bit of ink takes quite a bit of it. I'm trying to go for heavier amount of ink here, but I'm also not trying to, like really lay down. I'm barely touching the paper. It's starting to go through, and that's fine. I'm not really that worried about this paper. This was just sketch paper. It makes sense to hatch with this and stipple and all that stippling and stuff because this takes a lot of ink. And you can feel it scratching the paper, which is really cool, by the way. I love that feeling. And I'm very, very, very lightly touching the paper. I'm not like digging into it at all. I'm not sure how obvious this is, but I'm trying to use my arm as much as I can. Right here I'm using my fingers, my wrist, but I'm trying to draw with my arm as much as possible. For one thing, fatigue and also accuracy. It's kind of unforgiving, but like in a really cool way. You just have to kind of go for it. I'm a little handsy today. Like if I seem like I'm jumping around a lot, nerve problems. Try not to work this pupil too much. I already dug into it a lot. It's going to take me a while to get used to this if I keep using it. Oh, look, see all that ink pulling up there? That's cool. I really should be using, like I said, Bristol paper or something like that. Something thicker than this. This is sketch paper. It's not meant for this at all. But it's usually okay with my ink brushes and stuff. My, the Sakura. I like saying that. It's fun. The micron brush pens and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun to use those on this because it works fine. And this does fine as long as I'm doing this. If I try to build up too much ink in one spot, it's going through the paper. So again, that's entirely my fault. I'm not too worried about this paper. I just got it on a whim. It was something to sketch with, make videos with, for traditional stuff. I like to switch it up and draw digitally and traditionally and all that good stuff. However, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no clue. I'm just winging this. The best way to figure out if you can do something, just try it, right? You're not going to know you can do it or not until you try it. You can get better with things. Like, I didn't know if I was going to love doing this or not, so I just wanted to try it. It just seemed like something a lot of people like to do. Yeah, that ink's getting in there pretty good. He's a little elongated, too, when I drew him. Of course, wolves tend to look that way anyway, but it's because I was drawing way back from the paper when I did it on the video before, the video that he comes from. This would be easier to paintbrush on, I think, but I don't really have the option to do that right now. The only brushes I have are meant for my oils and acrylics, and I don't want to have to basically ruin those, so to speak, because I might want to oil again. And if I want to oil, I can't do that because it would be ruined. Ruined. Kind of reminds me of when I first started playing guitar and not wanting to break a guitar string by bending it because I was like, I have to go out and buy more. I was always afraid I was going to snap a string, and then you figure out really quickly that that's not how it works. You don't break string that easily. Unless you're bending it a step and a half every time you play. I do actually. I yank on my strings, but they don't break like that. They usually break because of some weak point when you install them a lot of times. If you take them off and put them back on again a few times, then they're oftentimes going to break your guitar strings. But I was really timid with this. Just kind of reminds me of being timid with the amount of ink I'm putting down because I didn't want to overdo it. And I'm just trying to get a feel for this. And that whole wiping the excess off, nah, that ain't happening. I'm going to smudge it on there. Wolves have a ton of fur, if you don't know that. Got a shitload of fur. So just draw them. Slap it on there. If I'm going to keep doing this, I'm definitely going to have to get a different kind of paper because it's going right through the next sheet. And that's fine. I don't really care that much. Like I said, I can always just draw over it or something, but just something to be aware of if you're doing this. This is Strathmore sketch paper, 50 pound. I was going to say it's 70. No, it's 50 pound. It's a 9x12, 50 pound. It's there. I think this is the 100 series. I got this at Target, actually. Sorry, it's the 200 series. So it's really good sketch paper. Obviously it's Strathmore, but sometimes stuff is better in name. Like, it used to be really good, and people like Prismas and stuff. People are like, well, they used to be really good. Now they're not as good as they used to be because manufacturing quality is down and stuff. I'm like, that's kind of like how Fender is and stuff. But a lot of people still swear by it. Like, Fender's the best. I'm like, no, Fender makes some good stuff. Don't get me wrong. Kind of like for the higher end stuff. You're like, why am I going to pay that much money for that? Some people do it just nostalgia, I guess. They've always wanted one. To each your own, It's kind of funny, like the cheaper guitars, equipment for drawing and stuff. They just kind of waned over the years. I don't know if I made that clear, but I do the music as well. Yeah, see, that's really nice. It's got a really dark. This is really fun. I gotta be honest. Their fur tends to kind of go away from their face. Like if you look at a cat and a dog and stuff, around their eyes, it kind of goes down and away, like this way, more than than anywhere else. And it's pretty obvious because, it would be in their way if it wasn't like that. Kind of fun to build the color up or the shading this way. It gets tighter and smaller the closer you get to their eyes and like around their nose and stuff, because then their fur doesn't get in their food when they're eating. I'm just doing this for fun. Like I said, I'm not really thinking much of it. I'm just kind of building up texture as I go. I just want to see how this feels. And it feels pretty cool. It's a different experience. It's not for everyone, but man, I see why so many people swear by this. This is a lot of fun. It kind of forces you to take your time. And I mean, if you know me, I like to draw fast and stuff. Props to the people that are Marvel artists and that can ink super fast, because this is crazy. I know they use different things. Use like ink brushes and stuff. I was trying to put some real amount of weight on this. Now, I'm not using the full advantage of this thing either. You can like really dig in. And I'll try it on the next page. I just wanted to see how he looked inked up. We'll take the training wheels off and I'll just go straight for it. This is how our cat looks at me when she's hungry. Or if we're not paying enough attention to her. That's another thing she does. I will just sign him. I usually just sign my full signature. But I will just do... That's still my full signature, but I crammed it in there as best I could. He's pretty... Yeah, it's like instantly dry. Really cool. So before I put him away, just so I don't draw through, because I'm going to go heavy-handed with this, I'm going to use the back of this. There's a number on here. This thing goes really far, so this is cool. I sat it. Good stuff. All right, I'm going to try to just like wet the hell out of this pen and really like see how... I wanted to just see like how hard can you push? Can you push it this way? Yeah, there you go. Like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. So I guess you can go from one side to the other. The back side for that real fine. But like, I think that's the other thing too, is you're supposed to use it that way as well. Probably. I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't care. This is really fun. Let's see. That's really cool. So if you really want that fine, let's try drawing an eyeball completely without trying to draw something first. No construction, just straight for it. We're doing the cartoon eyeball. That was a lot of... Yeah. See, I'm putting a lot of ink on there now. This paper is not going to work well with this. I mean, look at that. But that looks really nice. Like this... I'm not saying my drawing. I'm saying like the contrast of the paper. I think I pulled a Ray Dizzle. I think you're supposed to actually draw with that side, now that I'm thinking about it. But it does have... You do have that for the finer points, I suppose. But you can use... Because I can only get it to go so fine on this side. I can't get to give me those scratchy little chicken marks. Let's do an ear ball. I've been trying to remember how the ear basically runs in my mind. Every time I fall asleep, I swear to God, I think about this stuff. So like, you have this part of your cartilage that comes up. You have the ear hole. And then you have the top part of your ear. And then it kind of comes back around this, that ring, if it were. Kind of comes back into here. See how fast it inks? I'm just trying to find a way to do it really quickly. And usually in manga they do that. And they have the cartilage that's on the second part of this here. That goes down into your ear. That kind of connects back in there. I'm just trying to find a way to draw it that looks interesting and stylized, that I like. Because usually what I do is this, the hook. I do one of those numbers. And, that passes for an ear, basically. Yeah. This is not a drawing like how to. Again, I'm just doing this for having something to draw. Let's do a box. Line weight variation. It really lays the ink down nicely. Oh no. I mean, it's laying it down thick. Boy. But it's still very wet. Yeah, I guess it's not permanent, but once on the paper it is. I always do that when I make a... If I go into a new program, a drawing program, I do that. I put high for my friends. I always do it because I'm a dork. I really got this messy. Let's go here. I'm not sure what I'm drawing. Also, the ear usually will come sort of down like that. That little bump here, this little this is where the ear hole is, and then you have your cartilage that extends up here. Then you have this portion sort of overlaps as it goes around, and you have this other part here. This is usually what hooks, well, it depends on the person's ear, I suppose. It hooks back around right into this portion, and like I said, Manga, they tend to shade this in because there's usually, there's like that cartilage up here, and so they'll do this for the top part of the ear. I say they because I don't really think of myself as a manga artist. I kind of do, but not, fully. So like when I draw, I usually draw something like this, obviously not that lazily, but this is more anatomically correct, what manga style is like. I have a manga book. I'm going to try one more thing, and then that's it. I do have a manga book that I was given that I rarely look at because I forget I even have it. But it does have references for like hands and stuff, different tools and stuff like that. Let me see if I can find somewhere in here there's hands. I swear. The basic anatomy of how to draw a character is in here. Inking and shading, and it's sort of a tips and tricks book that I got. Oh, by the way, it's this. Somebody gave it to me. Actually, my wife's mother got it at a yard sale or something. My mother-in-law got it. She's like, "Do you think you would like this?" And she's like, "Yeah, I think you would." It's kind of more of a coffee table book than it is like purely how to draw. I mean, because it's like this. Here, hand. I'm like, normal feet versus chibi feet and that kind of thing. The eyes. I thought the ear was in here. You would think, manga chibi's introduction and stuff, but it doesn't matter. You always pick and choose. Like, I don't know if you can see the way that they drew his eye here at this angle is not too dissimilar than this. What they do is they have like this upper portion here, comes down, it hooks, right? So they kind of round that off. This overlap, the bottom part of your ear, they hook it in, and then this part comes up and over, and then they do this. That's usually the way I see it drawn. This part tends to come down to there, and then I'm dripping ink. They overshoot this like that. So usually it's this, and then you do the thing and the thing and a thing and a thing. Connect this. It just depends on. Usually I see it like that, and that's kind of what I'm going for when I do it. Anyway, just a thought. Do as I say, not as I do. But this to me works really well. I keep trying to remember to do that, but I also like fighting myself on traditional anatomy. I'm like, well, it's stylization. It's not exact anatomy. So you do that, and this comes down. Then you hook it over the top. Do one of these. Hook this back, and then throw a little hook in there. And there's your ear. And, of course, your jawline. And good to go. But, yeah, ear practice. And then fingers, I mean, they're just cylinders, right? But what I like to do when I draw hands when I'm construction drawing is I do like this box. So I know what the hand should look like if it's fisted, closed like this. This, and this. And then you get your knuckles come over the top. So it's a very fast way to get the hand sort of in gesturing where the hand should be. That's just for the sketch part. I don't leave it like this. But that way you get like where the knuckles are at, the meat of the hand down here, and the rest of his wrist and stuff. So then when you start to go back and do it, I'm picking up the ink with the pen. That's cool. You can construction draw that back into something more refined. I mean, you can straight ahead it if you want. I do that when I'm drawing like ideas. So I can do this. You can do this for his wrist if you want more cartoony type of approach. The hand tends to kind of come in a little bit, and then the thumb comes out and underneath. Actually, there's plenty of ink here. You get the feel that that's the hand, and then foreshorten the forearm and stuff. Start getting a feel that there's an arm and stuff. Anyway, I'm just goofing off because I'm trying to see how this feels to draw with. It's really cool. If you made it this far, thanks for hanging out with me. I just wanted to try this out and see how I fare as an artiste versus the inkwell ink pen. My mom calls it an inkwell because she's the old school, actually used it in school kind of kid. Yeah, so I mean, you can stylize your ear however you want. This, that, this, that. Pulls up. Whoa. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna practice my ears like this a little bit more, just so that I feel like I have it down. Because like once you understand how to draw it from that angle, you can start turning it very easily. Because you know, like this, you're only gonna see so much of the ear from that angle, right? Looks like an ear to me. We tend to rose-colored glasses stuff that we know. If you really just ever just objectively look at stuff that you love so much, like manga and stuff, it's not perfect. There's plenty of shit wrong with everything because it's rushed, just like, it's production. Nothing is perfect. And that's the beauty of it. It's the human, not to be cheesy, but it's sort of the human condition, as it were. The non-AI version. That's really cool. It's also a lot of fun and it scratches on a paper. So you do have this, like I said, the scratchy part of the backside, I didn't realize it's for really fine detail. It's really cool. I didn't realize I could do it the other way. So when I was doing the wolf, now that I know that, I could have very easily laid down a lot of ink very quickly. Now that I've done this, I have all those other nibs to try. I'm going to give those all a shot at some point. I don't think I'm going to do it today. I'm going to try some other stuffs. But yeah, I'm going to try cleaning this thing because I don't. That's another process. Let me do that real quick, and then we'll see how terrible that goes for me. I do recommend like a paper towel or something because I feel like it makes a damn mess if you don't. So I'm going to try cleaning this off first. Now this stuff is just like, apparently it's just like ammonia, water, and soap. I mean, it's very, very, very faint if it is. You're supposed to soak the nibs in here, so I don't know if I'm going to do it like that next time. I think I'm just going to dip it and pull it out because it's going to make a mess real quick. And the same with this. You don't want this to get inked up because anyway, we'll be able to stick it in there. It's going to get all caked up. And that's from using airbrush. I know this stuff is really, you be very careful with acrylics drying up in your brush and all that stuff. Otherwise, it's a pain to clean. And I'm not too worried about these anyway because they're only a few dollars. It's pretty cool though. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you hung out with me this far, I really appreciate it. And there you go. It was my first attempt at actually trying to use an ink dip pen, an inkwell pen. Not too terrible, I don't think, honestly. Oh, that's still really wet. Let me dry that off. But anyway, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Actually, I was wrong. I used the spoon nib because I checked the number on it when I was done, and it was that one. It was the bottom one. Well, next time I'll try the Japanese nib. I'll try them all, actually. They're very simple to clean. I thought it was way harder than it was, but not too bad. So, hope you like that. Catch you later.